Last chance to back out. Okay, let's do this. There's people and institutions that have been in power for a very long time. These entities, well, they don't lose elections, they don't argue online because they got two useful idiots that can for them. Cue the left and the right. Welcome to my channel. This is John. I'm just a regular dude that's kind of tired of arguing online in comment sections with bots. I do construction and remodeling, so if you got any questions about how to do a patch or do some plumbing, just ask in the comments. So how do the established powers stay up top? They stay exactly where they are because their influence doesn't depend on popularity. It depends on money, connections, and systems that have been running forever. That's why you see this weird thing happening. Both political sides are losing public trust, losing young people, losing cultural leverage. Left versus right is a distraction. The real fight is old power versus new awareness. People are waking up, calling out corruption on both sides. That's why the establishment hates independent voices. Because once people stop worshiping the team colors, they start noticing who's actually pulling the strings behind the curtains. That's the shift we're living in right now. A quick rundown. What is the left?
Quick point of privilege. Quick point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Guys, first of all, James Jackson, Sacramento, he, him. I just want to say, can we please keep the chatter to a minimum? I'm one of the people who's very, very prone to sensory overload. There's a lot of whispering and chatter going on. It's making it very difficult for me to focus. Please, can we just, I know we're all fresh and ready to go, but can we please just keep the chatter to a minimum? It's affecting my ability to focus. Thank you.
Thank you, comrade. Okay, is there a speaker against name, chapter, pronoun?
Point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
On the surface, they do maybe seem a little cuckoo, but they do mean well, I guess you could say. They believe that government should play a strong role in regulating the economy. You know, they want to provide social programs. They want to reduce inequality, and some of their common positions include, support for welfare programs. They want social safety nets. They want universal health care. They put more emphasis, on stuff like workers' rights, unions. They want the government to intervene in, like big business. They have more progressive views on, social issues such as like LGBTQ rights, immigration, things like gun restrictions, environmental rules. The left will push for things like student loan forgiveness. They want to expand Medicare. The supporters will say, it helps people survive, like the stuff that they want, the policies they want to see implemented in the country. Okay, so what's with the right? Am I right? I used to believe the right, they wanted the government to stay out of the economy as much as possible. They wanted to protect traditional values. They would emphasize on individual responsibility. But a lot has changed. The common positions that the right used to have, they wanted lower taxes, they wanted fewer regulations, they were very pro-business. Obviously, they were like super conservative. They still are super conservative on social issues, such as like gun rights. They want tighter immigration, they want stronger policing.
Fuck you, police!
They put a lot of emphasis on, national identity. They're very patriotic, and traditional family values is one of the best examples that I can use to describe the right. Although, be it, just like any normal human being, they don't exactly practice what they preach. And the same can be said for the left. Now, both sides do have ideal versions of themselves, but the reality is political parties, corporations, and media, they manipulate both the left and the right to keep people divided and distracted, while the money and the power consolidate upward. It's less good versus evil and more picture it like two teams arguing while the owners of the league are cashing in.
Вы меня рассмешили.
Now in this video, I don't want to talk about exactly, who's right or who's wrong, but why it matters that both the left and the right influence the way the average person thinks way more than most people like to admit. If you don't recognize that influence, you're not really thinking. You're kind of being thought for. People really do like to act like their thoughts are their own, like they're independent thinkers. But I mean, come on. Most of them are built by whatever side got to them first. And in there lies the essence of the biggest issue I personally have with both sides. They're all obsessed with control. And I guess who knows, maybe they're like that because to them their beliefs, the way they want everything to function, feels safe. You know, in their own schizo, make-believe land of sick power over everyone that doesn't fall in line. One thing to remember though, neither side is trying to inform you. They are just trying to recruit you. They push emotional stories first and then facts later. They frame the world as us versus them. They'll reward loyalty and they'll punish questioning, and they both do it. They tell you the other side is dangerous, stupid, or evil, or all of the above. And in here, I will bring you with Exhibit A, Q1 Hassan Piker.
Those motherfuckers and murder those motherfuckers in the street. Let the streets soak in their fucking red capitalist bloods, dude. Kill them.
America deserved 9/11, dude. Fuck it, I'm saying it.
To me, Piker is an extremist left. In my humble opinion, Hassan has time and time again shown what his far side stands for, and that is always believing to be right, never admitting fault, and influencing others to have a violent and hateful rhetoric. And he shocked his dog.
Same reason as to why America. Kaya, please just fucking go. Just stop. Jesus Christ, what are you doing? You're being such a baby. It's just.
Who's Hassan Piker, right? So pretty much, if you don't know, he's this nepo baby.
I am a nepo baby.
You know, his dad was, associated with the billion-dollar company, and his mom is a very wealthy landlady. Hassan will preach, communism. He'll screech communism, socialism are the answer. While he's taking money from his fans, maybe some of them are broke, maybe some of them are barely scraping by, maybe some of them are getting sued by a Jewish person. All the while, he's buying an expensive Porsche, an expensive house, expensive clothes. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's not right. Okay, there we go. Yes, that looks right, right? And he keeps taking money from Twitch, that's owned by Jeff Bezos. To me, he's the perfect example because Hassan Piker is a dominant face of the left, unfortunately for them, because he takes a lot of light from actual good people that are on the left, that actually do something for society, that actually want to improve society. They don't want to impose their beliefs on anyone. They genuinely want everything to be good for everybody. Everybody respected the same way, getting the same type of dignity. Now I'm going to move on to Exhibit B. So Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk believed things like the Civil Rights Act was a mistake.
Kirk describes King as, quote, a bad guy. It's true. Country made a mistake when it passed the Civil Rights Act. Also true. You're going to remove my appendix and you're a black lesbian. When you see a black pilot, you wonder, you say, I hope they are qualified. If I'm dealing with somebody in customer service who's a moronic black woman, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
The Civil Rights Act was a new founding where we decided to discard the U.S. Constitution and reconstitute the story, the mantra, the creed, and the vision of America.
Why did you say that the Civil Rights Bill should be overturned?
I didn't say that. I said it was a mistake.
Why? That's crazy. I wouldn't be here. That's trouble.
So I'm in construction. I'm a foreman, and I'm also a subcontractor. I've gotten a few calls from Florida, from friends that gave my number to family members over there, or friends, I can't remember exactly. Apparently, their own residents there are scamming homeowners, posing as contractors, offering their services, charging half up front, and disappearing. Florida has now adopted pretty strict anti-immigrant policies. They've passed strict anti-immigrant laws. And what are the fruits of those decisions? Well, those same Americans that scream they're stealing our jobs, when they're not stepping up to take those jobs back, and instead are pretty much stealing from their own. The reason I bring this up is because Kirk argued that the U.S. workforce is being displaced by immigrants. And I mean, sure, you can argue that, but let's be honest, those immigrants don't have a lot of competition. Both of these individuals blame the other side, choosing to ignore all the faults of their own schizo beliefs. When the left shapes your thoughts, you start seeing everything through the lens of oppression, inequality, and systems. When the right shapes your thoughts, you see everything as personal responsibility, tradition, and enemies trying to take your freedom. Now, that's not to say neither is entirely wrong, but at the same time, neither is entirely right. Both are like incomplete, but on purpose. Because if you only see half the picture, you're easier to control. Ask someone about immigration. If they lean left, you'll hear words like humanity, compassion, equality. If they lean right, you'll hear security, culture, law. The same topic, but two totally different default thought pathways built by the side that they trust. I don't know if you're starting to see the pattern. They're not built by their own brain, and that's why recognizing the influence really matters. Because once you see it, you start thinking for yourself again. You stop parroting team talking points. You stop living inside someone else's worldview. You stop letting politics color every reaction you have. You start asking some dangerous questions. Do I really believe this, or was I trained to? Is this my opinion, or did it come prepackaged? Who benefits from me thinking this way? Those questions scare the people in charge, left and right. Both sides feed off of division. Both sides want you reactive, emotional, and predictable. A predictable mind is easy to influence, an influenced mind is easy to guide, and a guided mind is easy to control. Not in some like dramatic movie way, but in the small, everyday ways that shape your beliefs, your votes, your outrage, your fears. Centrism isn't like, I want to argue with everyone. It's not laziness, it ain't being neutral about everything. It means recognizing what a far side can do to normies. And believe it or not, being normal is not a bad thing. Both sides, the left and the right, they can have good points, but another part of the issue lies in how far they take those points. If you go too far left, you get censorship, forced ideology, micromanaging. If you go too far right, I think of maybe what's going on right now, closer and closer to fascism, erroneous nationalism, suppression of pretty much anything that far side doesn't accept or agree with. This chipped coin is obsessed with control, whether either side wants to accept that or not. It's the truth. They'll sell you the idea of freedom like they're in a lemonade stand, with low effort, cheap, easy to drink thoughts. A divided population is easier to manipulate, it's easier to distract, easier to milk for money, vote, and outrage. Centrism disrupts all of that. Centrism asks a simple but dangerous question. Why can't we take the good ideas from both sides and throw away the garbage? Extremists hate that question because their power depends on keeping people locked into their one-sided worldview. Centrists, well, they break that spell. The left is right about some things. Workers do need protection, obviously. People deserve dignity. Corporations should not run the world. And the right is also right about some things, like, obviously, freedom matters. Personal responsibility, it's real. Traditions do give people stability. But why not build a worldview with the best pieces from both? Why not balance compassion with responsibility? Why not balance freedom with fairness? That balance is what keeps society from tipping into authoritarianism. Without that balance, history has shown us exactly what happens every time. It's about being in the middle, because that's where reality is. That's where nuance lives. That's where the truth tends to fall. Not on the edges, but, somewhere between them. Extremes shout, extremes demand obedience, extremes divide. Centrism listens. Centrism adapts. Centrism unites. And the future depends on people who can think without being owned by a political tribe. People who can disagree without dehumanizing each other. People who can choose balance over blind loyalty. Centrists aren't the quiet middle. They're the firewall. The shield that prevents society from collapsing into one-sided control. If we want peace, real peace,
We need more people willing to stand in the middle and say both sides have value, but neither side gets to dominate. We choose balance. That choice defines us as a society, and it's what keeps humanity from destroying itself through division. If you like this video, please leave a like. If you want, you can subscribe. Turn on your notifications, maybe. I won't be bothering you that much. Maybe once a day. No promises, though. I really hope you did. I really hope you got something out of it. This is my first video essay, so I'm not really good at outros, but see you next time.